Hey guys, I'm James Newcomb. I'm a 23-year-old personal trainer, and I'm going to document my prep into the Arnold Classic in 17 weeks time and the Jocelyn Adderwick's Classic in 14 weeks time. At the moment you'll be watching a video of me training back at 14 weeks out. I'll put the exercise explanation and the workout description below the video. If you're here to follow my prep, I guess I'll just start off explaining how I got into bodybuilding and why. So go back about 6 years, I joined the rowing program at school. Same as most school sports, as you get into the more senior years, you get introduced to the weights room, and this is where my love for weight training sort of really developed. I guess back then my reasons to train were actually extremely superficial and more or less about the rowing program. I find like now it's completely different. The bigger I get, the less it becomes about being actually big. I was given my first bodybuilding program and diet in off season to that rowing program, which at the time I didn't even know was a bodybuilding program. It was just your basic one muscle group, 1 day a week. So back Monday, chest Tuesday, legs Wednesday, shoulders Thursday, arms Friday. So I've always really followed a bodybuilding style program. I followed that for about 12 months. The trainer who gave me the program, who wrote it, noticed I was packing on size and suggested that I would actually be good at bodybuilding. So I gave it a shot. I had a brief idea of what the sport was. I'd seen some of my peers compete before. I competed 2 seasons in the NBA. I won a national and state titles as a teenager. These wins definitely gave me pretty positive affirmations and set in my mind that this is sort of the sport that I wanted to do. I got bit by the bodybuilding bug, as they say. I then went on, got annihilated at an IFBB nationals event. I didn't even place there, and I learned a fair bit from that loss. So I put my head down, I worked my ass off leading into the Arnolds in 2018, the start of this year. I got a pretty positive outcome from that show. And then from there it led on to the prep that I'm currently in now. I pretty much started this prep, this off season or gain season, the day that I finished Arnold at the start of the year. If I were to do that again, I'd probably actually have a break. Right now it feels like I've only just sort of relaxed in an off season, and then I'm being thrusted back into prep. Regardless of that, I still have a fair bit to give leading into this prep. So we'll go into goals for this prep. At the moment I'm extremely motivated from the start of this year, the result that I got. So I'm currently sitting at 101 kilos. Middle of off season I was about 108. And then going into Arnold's, we're going to try and make the under 90s. I struggle to lose weight fairly quickly, like I hold on to weight quite hard. Only doing about 12,000 steps per day at the moment. In the middle of my off season I was doing like 6,000 or 7,000, so we've increased it a little bit. That's a little bit on my output, some more on my output. At the moment I'm tracking volume in my training diary. Some guys knock this method, but for me it's not just writing weights or volumes. I do put those in there, but I also write technique cues, how the exercise felt, how I executed, just so I know I'm getting the most out of each set and I can build on week to week. So keeping those notes sort of allows me to add on to how I felt each week. So I'll go back and I'll know that I did a certain movement with my body and that helped me feel it in a certain area more than another movement. So I sort of write that down as a note and read back on them to improve. Training at the moment, I try to go for a more low volume approach. At this phase in the prep, to make sure I can give the sort of maximal effort every set and keep putting weights up and reps up every week. I like to use sort of building sets. So sort of like a warm-up set, except you sort of try and feel that connection with the weight through the muscle. So as people say, it's that mind-muscle connection. I only do this for my warm-up, so I still lift heavy, heavy on my working sets, but the idea is to sort of connect before you hit the heavy stuff, and then maintain that connection and that focus for your working sets. So for example, you may see in the video on like a bent row, we'll do a 60 kilo, an 80 kilo and 100 kilo building sets. Obviously that weight's not enough for me to stimulate too much muscle growth, so we're allowed to squeeze and feel the rep a little bit more, and then we'll go into 3 working sets of maybe like a 130, a 130 and a 140, I think, in the video there. For nutrition and input at the moment, food's pretty basic. I usually carb cycle in the off season, but Adam and I have cut all my high days currently as my body weight's not dropping. Sitting at about 400 carb, 330 protein and 75 fat. Then on my rest days we drop down calories to about a 130, so 130 fat, 130 carb, 280 protein. And the idea, obviously, just real basic, moving less, not training, so I don't need to eat as much. Training and recovery at the moment. Currently train 6 out of 7 days a week. And on top of that, like I'll still every 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm feeling laggy, I've trained for 2 or 3 days in a row and I'm feeling like I need a rest day, I will take a spontaneous rest day. This is just basically me listening to my body. You know, you guys, you need to listen to those indicators. Your body is like, it's 1,000 times smarter than you, and through evolution we sort of developed bodies that are more intelligent than our own brains. So you need to be able to listen to your body, stay in tune with your intrinsic side, meditate, make sure you have periods of time engaging in deep thought. Don't just move weights up and down, you'll drive yourself into the ground. To summarize, so we'll be doing more videos on all the parts that I went sort of skimmed over in above, input, output, mentality, recovery, all that. But currently, basically just the first video, just covering everything at the start of the prep now. A little bit on mentality. I don't really feel like I'm prepping at the moment. I mean, I'm lean as I have been at 14 weeks out, which is usually the case when you have a good off season, but I'm the kind of bodybuilder that needs to suffer to feel like I'm working. You know, I need to go without. I sort of need to abstain and feel uncomfortable to feel like I'm actually getting something out of it. Yeah, so I can't wait for the next 17 weeks. I hope you guys all enjoyed the training video and what I had to say. We'll check in for another video in about 2 to 3 weeks. Thanks.
Cause I'm at my prime. Yeah. I'm at my prime. Whoa. Have I gone too far? Do you detect something different? If you look inside my head, would you say something's missing? If you could give all your rich